Contextualizing gestation. 28 days, chickaree. 44 days, western gray squirrel. 9 months, human. Today's Wednesday, 8 July 2026 AD. And here I, Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, contextualize the gestation period for 3 different species. The chickaree, North American red squirrel, approximately 28 days. The western gray squirrel, approximately 44 to 45 days. The human, approximately 9 months. The chickaree and western gray squirrel species are one I routinely interact with in a natural outdoors setting. All right, so the chickaree, approximately 4 weeks, 28 days is the gestation period. A contextualization with my own biological, physiological cycle. It's my menstrual cycle, normal, I'm a she, her, hers, I'm a woman, is 31 days. And their gestation period, so like they get conceived to birthing, gestation here means conception to birthing of the organism, is approximately 28 days. So it's like, the critters of the backyard, for all I know, my cycle is worse. So I'm Euro-Native American, a quarter Native American, per the adoption stuff I've been talking about, like me being adopted. And so with that ancestry, then a quarter Native American, and then 3/4 European, per ancestral origins. And these chickarees in the backyard, they're Native American like me. We're Duwamish, and I live in the Seattle area, and Duwamish are original peoples of the Seattle area. I'm half and half of that quarter Duwamish and Lakota, so an 1/8 Duwamish and an 1/8 Lakota. And I was like, maybe I've synchronized with the wildlife, and theirs is actually 31 days, and I'm 31 days, and we're 31 days together, like at cycle reproductive level. I'm like, that'd be very cool. Their weaning period is about 8 weeks, so double the distance, so to speak, to them actually like possibly being out in the yard. Okay. I've been observing this for years now, and this is consistent with published statistics, so to speak. All right, so that's the chickaree. The western gray squirrels, so gestation, conception to birthing, approximately 44 to 45 days. That is, so approximately 6.5 weeks. Approximately, so 6 weeks is 42 days, and 7 weeks is 49 days. So approximately is a little closer to the 6 weeks. And then there's a weaning period as well. So when I say they're young squirrels, or like a tiny one, they might show up at like, a few months. And so it's 6 weeks is about a month and a half, but it's a little over that, so it might be about a month and a half. And so then I can think of it as about 1 season. I personally, so for western gray squirrels, this is threatened species. I've encountered that some people say they reproduce approximately once per year. These critters reproduce, they tend to have, there's more than one reproductive wave in a year. So maybe it's just I'm really that good of a mama. They reproduce a little bit more. They synchronize with me. We're Duwamish in that sense. And so it's about a season from birth to, or conception to them being out in the yard. And so there are 2 to 3 waves a year that I've seen. Human is approximately 9 months. If it's before baby is birthed before 9 months or after, before might be called premature, after might be called late. I think there's a little bit of a nuance there. So it's approximately 3 seasons of a year. If one lives in a place with seasons, that might be a more pronounced 9 months if it aligns or synchronizes with natural seasons. I think there's a little bit of premature or preemie, so if somebody's born before the 9-month due date, it's not like a 3-day thing. It's in my personal encountering it tends to like be invoked for if somebody's like multiple weeks early. So like there's the like approximately on time, but it like gets to be really a burden for the mother if it's like, a few days late. It can become really uncomfortable. Whereas like premature, at least of recent times, where it doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy, but of recent times is like, maybe people are in like making it more taboo. It's okay that the baby's not born at the healthy 9-month mark. And so it's a trend. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good trend, but it's a trend that it's more like multiple weeks early to multiple months early. I mean, goes with premature. And I was 3 days late. So like for that kind of okay, but not everybody's a medical professional. Neither am I. Okay, I just trends in my lifetime. I was born approximately 1993 AD. All right. So me moving in with my Josh and us adopting out critters. Once pregnant and we have enough, the fastest turnaround is a little bit longer than the gestation period. So not me. I'm not pregnant, nor am I adopting any of my human offspring out. I don't have any, and there aren't any in the foreseeable future. So time to healthy adoption, so this is like the chickarees and the western gray squirrels, is gestation period plus birth plus weaning, so plus healthy separation distance. So for the chickarees, if it's a gestation period of 28 days or 31 days, plus then the 28 days or 31 days of weaning, plus then don't forget about it, they actually has to be born, so between those, and then there's also the like separation part. Okay. So then tentatively, if a little critter has birthed a lot and we've adopted some, and they might be okay with separating earlier or not. I don't know. So a learning experience for us, should we go that adopting away. Might start with my soulmates / family members living with us, such as my Jacob Elordi and my Papa Craig Gillespie. So this is me talking about Josh. And then a general note, humans wanting to stay on Native American land would wait for Native American wildlife and humans to reproduce first. Man, those of us of Native American ancestral origins live in hostile times. So many invasives reproducing out of turn. Nice to take solace, and they do not go where we do when we die. Even if the invasive offspring were to die later die, it does not change the fact they were conceived / born in the first place. Can I come up with it? So with that note, can I come up with an invasive human offspring I might like? So like, if there's a filter I apply to all invasives, I was like, well, which one is the, the best of the, well, it's like, well, there's my soulmate, like my Papa Gillespie, if that kind of stuff. And I was like, that, we're talking about like the civilians here. It's like, okay, who would be top of the invasive hierarchy then? So how about, I shared an office with somebody, and they got, so I'm an only child, so this is, okay. Taking that the whole adopted thing in. Okay. I don't have a sibling. What I'm trying to say. So, and someone who I shared an office with gets my sibling pregnant. So I don't have a sibling. Okay. And the child, the sibling did something to hurt me previously, in perhaps my business or like my work product in the world, such as YouTube videos. And it's the second offspring of that sibling, and the first offspring, they really just tried to end me, like knock me out of my own family story by like naming it like Thomas or something like that. And so this offspring, birthed by my office mate, we know it's not a rape baby because it's a male offspring. And and the sibling is still married to her husband. So think of it as, it means she said okay to this guy, other than her husband. So she cheated on her husband with this offspring. But she really loves it. So she got to bring it all the way out, or the sibling has to bring it all the way out, right? She, he, they, them, them. Okay. Being inclusive of that. And then like, I know the name of my office mate, so I start to like be like, you don't have to choose me. I'm not going to be your favorite auntie, right? Because they're my favorite aunt. I'm going to, every interaction I have, because I don't want to interact with the child, I'm going to gear towards choosing the real papa, the blood papa, the blood / birth papa, as in like birth meaning blood papa, because the husband's gonna be like, no, I'm the birth papa, like I was there at the birth. And I was like, I know, for me, since I'm adopted, right, when it's that child be the adoptive child, then adopt, that the husband would adopt the child technically. So I can, every interaction, try and gear that child to choose the name of the actual father. Ooh, ooh. That'd be fun. All right, don't have to choose me. I'm not gonna try and take anybody's baby. Baby, choose your real dad. That would be fun. I would make non-consensual interaction a little bit more, well, let's get you to the right family. Let's get you to the right dad. Anyway, so there we go. That's an example of that. Might be a good invasive offspring. Human offspring. Okay. It's contextualizing gestation, 28 days, chickaree, 44 days, western gray squirrel, 9 months, human.